have all changed up how we work. Certainly, there is a lot of factors that we need to consider when interacting with our coworkers or maybe business partners or possibly customers online. And to talk about this and more, we have returning once again Ciara Pressler for another edition of Work Life to help guide us through this crazy world we live in right now. Ciara, it's always so good to see you. What should we talk about here today?
That's a big responsibility, Greg, to guide everyone through the new world of work.
It's all on you.
Life. Oh man, but I am here for it. Yeah, man. Well, this week I got an interesting call from one of my colleagues, and he was venting and he was saying, I've got this person working for me, and he just keeps telling me about his personal life, and it's totally irrelevant. And so I thought maybe it's a good time to make this our topic: when to keep personal things personal.
Yeah, and it's certainly something, I mean, we've probably all encountered it in some way in the workspace, but right now especially I feel like it's a difficult line since everything's so blurred right now. So I guess what are some of the important things to consider here at the top of this?
Yeah, well, there's some things that are true anytime. Of course, during this time of a lot of working from home, going to school from home, it is a lot more tricky, but you got to pay attention to what you are letting people see or not see. Of course, anytime you can manage it, it's not appropriate to bring your camera into your bathroom or your bedroom, make sure that you're creating as neutral of a space as possible so people are paying attention to you versus your background. Some things are personal and private. Let's keep them that way. But when we are in normal office mode, no matter where we are, there's certain things about your personal life that don't help your case for being valued as a member of your team.
Yeah, it's kind of that idea of saying too much, I guess, over explaining things. Is that kind of part of that?
Yeah, and the reason is that you might be actually working against yourself when you're oversharing. So one example would be personal reasons for missing work or missing a meeting or coming in late. You might be thinking that it's helpful that somebody knows that your dog got sick, but maybe your boss doesn't like dogs and doesn't think you should have a dog. Don't put it in your boss's hands to have the have the power to decide whether your excuse is good or not. You don't have to tell the reason why you're missing work, why you're late, why you couldn't make a meeting. You can just say yes, no. As little information as possible is usually going to work more in your favor.
So yeah, don't overshare. You don't need to explain everything out. That's some great advice right there. What are some other examples?
Well, we know about that kind of old rule about don't talk about religion, sex, or politics in a professional venue. And we're coming up into the final days of the election. So we do need to be careful about what we talk about at work and what we don't, and assuming that people feel the same way we do about every topic. Of course, it is relevant to our work, who we vote for, but the most important thing is that you get out there and vote, and in your personal time, go out there and campaign for the candidates and the causes that you really care about. You also have to be careful that you're
lobby your coworkers.
Yeah, probably not appropriate. And that goes for your sense of humor and your jokes too. People can say things that just are not appropriate in a workspace, so you do want to be able to edit yourself a little bit.
All great advice. So all of those things, certainly things to think about here, and especially coming up with the political season, like you said. What are some tips that people can kind of walk through to make sure that they're following this advice?
Yeah, always ask yourself, is this building my case? Is this adding to my value as a team member? Especially if you're in something like job negotiations, you're asking for a raise. If you're giving a lot of personal reasons, you're not actually basing the decision in facts. If I go in and say, I need more money because I need to do this in my personal life, it's a very different case to make than saying something like, this is the median salary and I deserve this because I saved the company money. Then you're making a fact-based argument, and your arguments are going to be so much more powerful, and you're going to be valued more as a member of your team.
Such great advice, yeah, when it comes down to that. Well, Ciara, as always, appreciate you being here for Work Life. And once again, I want to let everybody know, where can they go to follow everything that you're doing?
Go find us at pregamehq.com. Pregame is the business where we are coaching people on getting better at business. And I am pleased to be here with you sharing some of our pro tips.
Thank you, Ciara. Always good to see you. Always good to hear your advice. Thanks a lot. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Greg.